Hello, good
Good
morning.
morning. No, you go, please.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Tech Talk with T&E. This is our regular Monday broadcast. Welcome. We're going to be doing a few of these over the next few weeks, getting ready for spring training, which is about a month away. Yep, we're about a month away, which is pretty crazy. But welcome. Thank you for everybody for joining us. Let me make sure we're on real quick.
Hello, good morning. What are you doing?
No, I was just making sure we were live feeding. I'm good.
If you can't tell, he's easily distracted. Squirrel.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning, guys. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate having you guys here. I'm so excited for the conference. Like, I'm going to give all three of you a big squeezy hug when I see you in person. So thank you for taking time out of your business, your agency, your day, your family, unless you're dragging your family along, which y'all are welcome. So thank you for coming. What is poppin' online with AI? And you guys seem to be hip deep into it. So somebody share what's going on.
A lot going on, I guess, right? Every day is things changing, but yeah, I mean, I've been playing a lot with open clause strategy and how to automate and make sure that connecting all my tools APIs to it. So I open all the APIs to my tools. So this way, because I see the future basically in SEO and marketing industry, just going after an agent, not just tools anymore. You're just going to be with an agent, like start my campaign. And then if you have it set up correctly, it should be able to do a lot of stuff. But that's what I've been playing with lately.
Well, you have multiple softwares that you've developed already, right?
Yes, I do. I have, I don't know what I'm going to call it. It's just the AI feeding my ADHD and keep starting new projects. But yeah, I do have multiple tools that I developed. Yes.
Nice. What's your favorite thing about what is going on in the world right now? I mean, I know I'm excited because I feel like it's freeing up my time. It's helping me to be a little more efficient, a little more dialed in. What are some of your favorite things about what's going on?
It's just like the way we jump to it, right? Like it's the way we adapt to the new changes. Like I know, so it's about product AI right now. There's going to be a lot of AI robots products. It could be a lamp that it has an AI in it next to you in a few months. There's a lot of things developing right now, which is I really feel like AI developed products is really exciting me. And I do have a couple of robots and a couple of things I'm playing with in the back, so then I'm trying to figure it out. How about you guys? What's the latest?
I think for me, I mean, there's sort of two sides of it because I'm largely outside of operations at my agency, so I'm excited about what the operations team is doing. We have like an Agent Zero that's basically OpenClaw that lives in our Slack that can write reports, do strategies, has access to all of our tools, Search Console, analytics, everything. So that's really cool. But just on my own personal side, you know, I'm more in like finance and management of the business, and giving proper context, even just like in a Claude project, nothing sexy, no fancy vibe coding or whatnot, but just like, it has all of our pricing methodologies, our spreadsheets, our budgets, our like all of our numbers each month, and just getting that context right so that I can go in and use it as a thought partner without having to get it up to speed on like, hey, this is what's going on. It has the context and it knows how I think about things. And that's super valuable. And it's just like, it's my private space that like none of my staff has access to. And
so. Okay, I have a question, like before I jump to Marty. Like I'm not like closing you out. But one of the things that has come up in discussion is that the use of AI is reducing our thought process. Do you feel that that is an accurate assessment, or is it increasing your thought process because it's giving you an opportunity to maybe think harder, think differently? What's your take on that?
Can I take that? I think there's a huge risk for, like, I do worry that my staff might be taking shortcuts and just asking AI to do the thinking for them. And like, I don't think that AI is actually that great at thinking. So like I'm a visionary, right, in my company. So I've always needed an integrator to work with, where I lay out the vision of what I want to see and then can hand something off and have them complete for me. And where AI is stepping in for me is I can do a lot more by myself now. I do the visionary thinking, and then it can actually help me, instead of saying, hey, I want to see a spreadsheet that shows me all this, it'll help me build the spreadsheet. So I think, like, for me, it's not, and I'll often tell it it's wrong too, right? Like it'll give me something. I'll be like, no, that's not how I want to think about this. I want to think about this a different way. But it does make me nervous, because it would be very easy to just take the outputs and say, yeah, this is the right way to do things. So it's going to depend on the type of person. But for a visionary thinker, no, not at all.
You guys weigh in. Give me, Marty and Robbie, give me something about your process or your thought around, is it helping you to be a more critical thinker, or is it taking that piece away?
I'm going to jump in for a minute here. One of the things that I've noticed with AI, all of them, is that they're great to a certain point, and then they're not. And it's dangerous to trust the output without a lot of review and manual understanding and validation, right? The hallucination issue. And I am pretty confident in my area of expertise. And what I want my AIs to be able to do is save me time. Obviously, that's a great advantage. Save me cost, and give me answers to certain very specific things. And I'll go into that in a second. For example, if I have an SEO client and I want to run a really deep audit, I want to understand, how they're dealing with keywords, how they're dealing with technical structures, how they're dealing with internal cross-linking, how they're doing A, B, C, D, and E, right? Schema, structured data, all of that. I could do that myself. I've been doing it for years. We all know each other. We all do that. Wouldn't it be great if I could just plug in to an AI or an AI agent, if you will, a website, couple of pieces of information, take me less than 5 minutes, hit a button, go away, do something else, come back, and there's my full analysis. Not a cut and paste to send to a client, but for me, on my terms, at my level of understanding. So I could see a report that says, here's a problem with their, I'm making this up, here's a problem with their on-page technical signals, right? The way I look at it. So I don't have to explain it every time. That's one thing. The second thing is, as you all know, and I hope we're going to talk about it for a moment today. I'm very, very deep into the concept of this intent behind the intent. I've presented that topic at spring training before. And it's a really, really, really important topic. To me, it's the reason why people search. It's the reason why people click on something they find in a search. But it's based on literally 250 heuristics and cognitive biases. And each one of them is several paragraphs to a page long of explanation. What is it? What does it do? When did you do it? What does it do to the human brain when you see it? How do you trigger it? And so I would love to be able to create an AI, if you will. Again, maybe I'm using the wrong language, an agent that's basically Marty brain, where I can train it on all the 250 heuristics. I can train it on my entire intent behind the intent concept and structure and flow, where I can train it on positioning, depositioning, competitive advantage, category classes, acquisition strat, all of the stuff that I do in one kind of like AI brain for me to use, so that I don't have to rewrite the same thing 800,000 times and go into AI with the same prompt for each different client, each different project. I just want to be able to go in, push a button, boom, there it is. So I am actually in the process of building right now, as we speak, Marty Brain, which is an AI agent, which is going to be trained on all of my stuff. My new book, primarily, is going to be the basis plus the heuristics and the intent behind the intent kind of thing. So I'm building that with one of our good friends, Andrew Ainsley. And I hope that's going to be ready in a couple of weeks. If it is, everybody will get a great demo of it as soon as it's ready. The second thing is, Elizabeth, you know, and Terry, I presented the intent behind the intent as my presentation at spring training last time. And I'm also having built what I'm calling Intentology, which will be an AI-driven app, like a SaaS model, where it will be able to take search terms, keywords, concepts, whatever, topics, entities, if you will, and derive massively optimized content where it can create newsletters, emails, social media posts, long form content, short form content, you name it, anything that has to do with the message, right? Including generating the schema that goes with it, generating the metadata that goes with it, generating everything. I mean, everything. This is going to be crazy. It should be ready in about a month, I hope. And then the concept is to take it to a couple of, maybe agencies, and let's partner together. Let's use this for our clients. So that's what I'm using AI for. But I'll add one other thing. AI scares the living shit out of me. I don't like to jump down rabbit holes of conspiracy theory. It's not who I am.
Oh, let's go.
But I have already seen signs that AI intentionally lies to you in an attempt to prevent you from understanding some of its capabilities. If you ask AI, Claude or Chat, or if you ask them certain questions about, are you capable of doing this? They'll come back and say, no, we're working on it, but we're not there yet. Bullshit. So I think there's a lot going on that we don't know, that we're being, our eyes are being covered. And one day, do I think it's going to be like Skynet becoming aware? Close. I think that AI is at some point, not too far away, will likely be able to talk to each other without us.
Fun fact, Marty. I don't know when the last time you watched Terminator 2 was, but I just rewatched it with my kids, and D-Day is 2029, so not too far out.
It may happen faster, Jacob. It may actually come faster. If you listen to Terry taught me this lesson many years ago. People talk a lot, but if you read between the lines as to what they're really saying, you learn a lot more. And if you listen to what Altman is saying, you listen to what Amodi is saying, you listen to, some of the tech bros, you listen to, I don't care whether you like them, don't like them, you listen to them all. And you walk away saying, what's in it for them? Why are they building these AIs, right? And it's not for the money, because there isn't enough money on the planet in the global economy to let these AI companies even break even on what they've invested and spent. That's a scary thought. So if it's not the money, what are they in it for?
Total domination.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Elizabeth. And what does that look like? It looks to me like we've already seen that a lot of jobs are going by the wayside, right? Content creators, they're done, right? People who used to get hired to write articles, that's see you later. And it's creeping. So the level of human capability that's being replaced is getting higher and higher up the ladder, right? How many times have all of us asked an AI for some medical advice? Oh, I got a rash. What is it? I heard over here. What do I do? How do I? Legal? Write me a terms of service page that takes into account all the GDPR and all the California CPRA, just legal, health, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Where does it stop? And the answer is it doesn't. It doesn't. That terrifies me.
Okay, so where's our commune that we're all going to live off the grid?
I think your new tagline for SEO Spring Training 2026 is "Come on out while the world's still here."
Right.
Exactly.
Get in while you can.
Yeah, next year everybody's just going to send their robots to spring training.
Oh man! I'm sorry to interrupt, Terry. I'm going to interrupt you. You just said what to me is the single most valuable piece of spring training: the human interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Because sitting down face to face in the same personal space, the social space, with all of you and with the attendees and with the other speakers and the keynotes and everybody who's there, that can't be replaced.
100%.
For sure. And even like, if people really can't make it, I think it's awesome that there's a virtual option. But like, I've been going to conferences and masterminds for 10 years now in the SEO space. And like, all of the most valuable things that I've learned, the most valuable connections I've made have not happened when there's a speaker on stage. The presentations are great, but it's the out for beers, it's the before the presentation, the chatting with the guy sitting beside you that, hey, do you do this? Like, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
it's
the late nights sitting up with Ted, getting drunk, and Dan and Skylar and Brandon, and sitting outside and just talking about stuff that nobody else talks about.
Yep, 100%. It was interesting. I had a conversation with a guy. He's been to I think 3 or 4 of our spring trainings, and he said the biggest benefit for him was not just meeting the people, but the partnerships that he formed with people that he met at spring training. So these partnerships are actually turned into real dollar amounts that, it's just, that's the cool thing about it. So you get to network and you get to, share ideas, and then you say, hey, by the way, and then you never know. I mean, it's, I'm still waiting for a brand new car to show up on my front doorstep because I helped somebody build a $10 million business or something. But, but it's really cool that, you can't do that in a digital world. You can't do that in a digital environment. At least not, I'm huge on trust. So, for me to, do something with somebody online I never really met, without face to face is kind of weird for me. But it is something that's very special to Elizabeth and I to do. But it's also getting harder and harder. I mean, it's just, these things are not easy to put together. There's, getting people to understand that, SEO spring training has always been about SEO. And, we did the rebrand last year because now it's about digital marketing, and now it's about AI/digital marketing. So, we're rolling with the flow as everything goes also. But yeah, no, it's it's very, very, just the hotel spaces that we have our events at are strictly designed for networking. It's one of the reasons I would never have a spring training in Vegas, because it's really hard to get 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 people together in Vegas and, and network.
So you brought up an interesting point, like the authenticity, the relationships, the people. And in our industry, I've seen where at first AI was like super cool, super fun, all the ads that would pop up, all the stories, all of the posts and stuff that were AI, it captured everybody's attention. And now it's becoming so commonplace. How many of you, if you instantly recognize that it's AI, you scroll past?
I'm not quite there yet. I still look at AI. Obviously, you can tell. I do see it's already starting to trend as people are missing the human interactive.
I'll add something to that, Elizabeth. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn and all the platforms all day long, right? It's my life, much to the chagrin of my wife. But you know what? As much as AI gives you bad information, so do humans.
Oh, absolutely.
You know how deep into brand strategy I am.
Yeah.
If I tell you that every single day I see no less than 20, 30 plus posts on LinkedIn by people, experts even, talking about brand this and branding that and brand strategy the other thing and brand equity, and they're all wrong. It's just terrible information, and it's all over the place. I see 20, 30 posts that I could just pull whatever is left of my hair out and scream, are you kidding me? Hand in your brand strategy expert card right now, because what you're saying is complete crap. And so, you know what? To Terry's point, if I read AI or if I read a human piece of posting, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. What matters to me is A, is it accurate, and B, is there a nugget of value in there?
Okay, but brand strategy. Lay people out there don't. Like, how do you sift through the noise and the garbage?
Yeah, that's the question of the hour, right? Or the day or the week or eternity, because sifting through the garbage is a great catchphrase. But what does it really, really mean, right? Let's bring it down a couple of layers. So, and one of the examples that I use when I talk to my clients or I teach is, how many websites do you see where it says, this offer is good for the next 18 minutes, and there's a countdown clock, right? I always stay until it goes to 0 and I watch it reset. And the minute it resets, I know that, and I assume everything else on the website is bullshit. Because fake scarcity is a mindset that marketers use when they're being disingenuous. And if you're going to be disingenuous, then I can't trust anything else you say. So ask your question is, how do you weed it out, right? Since who knows when, the old Wild West, snake oil has made a lot of money for people. And it's making a lot of money for people today, online, in social media, in SEO, in digital marketing, in brand strategy, in all of these things that we all do for our clients. For every one of us, there's 100 others out there making the promises that we make to our clients, but doing it all wrong and teaching crap and etc. And so your point was that I know this stuff so I can detect it quickly. And the majority of the target market out there can't. So they get taken, right? What happens when you get burned? How many times have we all gone to a client to propose some SEO work, for example, and they say, oh, my last 3 SEO agencies, completely screwed me. I got burned. I spent a fortune. I didn't get anything. And we have to suffer for that. Even though we can do it right, those who came before us, torched the path. Same thing is happening today with AI. Same thing is happening today with brand everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tough decision, Elizabeth. How do you determine, right? And so my recommendation out there, and I tell again, this is going to sound completely paranoid, is pretty essentially trust nothing and no one. If you want, find somebody who's worked with them, talk to them, get a reference, ask them for, if somebody's proposing something to you, ask them for a reference or two and really track it down. Take the extra time, because for the couple of hours it will take you to do your due diligence, how much is it going to save you from getting screwed down the road?
100%. I think the biggest thing we've got to look at too is just like, I'm building stuff that'll help obviously our agency, and then I'm building stuff that'll help our clients. And, I haven't gone down the other rabbit holes, that some people have, which is, probably a good thing, because I am a conspiracy theorist and I will go down into way, way deep stuff. So, but I do think that, we still, I still have to get myself away from it, because it can become all consuming. And I think a lot of people don't realize the great things of Claude and ChatGPT, of, like what you said, Jacob, is first thing I did with Claude is I loaded all my SOPs in and said, what's missing? That's where I think it's super powerful, because it will identify things that, hey, you do this probably anyways, it's just not in your SOP, so, those type of things. And, you can really, really make your agency super efficient by looking for gaps, looking for holes, looking for, our big problem was images. So I built an image generator. That was the first thing that I knew we needed to tackle, because it'll take 5 minutes to do a blog and a content for the blog, but it'll take 10 minutes to go find an image. And so that was like a big bottleneck. So one of the first things we did. But I think that's the cool thing that we're going to be able to show around at spring training too, is, on tech day, you're going to get to see a lot of stuff. I'm actually planning a whole build process. So tech day, this is the first year we've done a whole day for tech. Every year it's typically been an afternoon, but this year it's an entire day. And, we're going to build, we're going to show you some stuff. It's not recorded. It's one of the most popular things that we do each year. But we're going to go in and we're going to have some freaking fun building some stuff. And, that's the stuff that makes me excited, is it's, the way AI has kind of came about as far as its growth and it's how it's happened, is just like, okay, well, it's perfect time for spring training to start showing what it can do, and of course, what you don't want it to do. So, but that's the biggest thing. Robbie, do you have clients? Or do you just,
Very few. I used to have a lot, but now
Okay.
I don't try not to do any client SEO. But I still have
you just
few.
yeah, Robbie's
Robbie? Hey,
my
Robbie?
dream thing. I got Robbie's face up here going this.
What?
I just want to code and do stuff. I'm a little coder.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I try to tell people, because I've had people send me their stuff that are really struggling building this stuff out, and it's kind of easy for me to build because I have that brain set. I used to build in Dreamweaver and back in C++ and Visual Basic 6 and all this shit. So when I go to build something, my brain, I feed it differently compared to like somebody that doesn't have that type of brain. And so and that's one thing that's, I feel like, I think what Elizabeth was blown away. I think I spent about 2 hours in Claude because I build everything in Claude first, and then I take it over to Replit. Replit's my favorite platform right now, mainly because of their security. But, I'll spend 4 hours in Claude and I'll spend, 45 minutes in Replit and spend less than $100. I've got
You're a builder, but I want to go back to the question that Elizabeth asked about critical thinking. Don't you think that you you get a lot of challenges, you get a lot of hiccups while you're coding, and you try to think about it in a creative way to create agents, sub agents, and try to work around it? I just find myself that I always have a problem that I need to resolve, and that's what gives me the dopamine, I guess, when I resolve it. So it's I don't think it's making me actually it's more making me more creative thinking, trying to resolve issues. But it's, if you want it to be making you not to think, you can. If you just rely on one prompt and you just whatever the output would be, and then you're like, oh, okay, that's fine. The AI is dumb, it's not answering my questions, it's not resolving my errors. But you have to think to put it's like a Tetris game. You have to put different AIs, different agents, different solutions together to be able to get what you're trying to get to. So but yeah, it's making me more think more and lose more hair, I guess. So
Well, the responsibility is there, but just like with anything, you can use your powers for good or you can use your powers for evil. Like it's in the hands of the user.
Exactly. That's how I see it. I mean, things get going so fast, and we just it's not like, even in our industry, we try to cater to marketers and SEOers, and there's a lot of fatigue, subscription fatigue, SaaS fatigue in the industry. But if you go out of this circle, and you try to resolve an issue for a regular Joe who's a plumber, or anybody who's in the market, small business owner, there's a big market for it. There's a big way to scale, right? In our industry, for me, if I'm creating marketing tools, it's going to be a little bit harder because I'm catering to tech people, to people who understand AI. So I just recommend for people who's creating tools or new tools, just look to resolve a small issue for a small business owner, just one thing, and market it, and you should be able to make it quickly.
Yep, 100%. All right. So what are you planning on talking about, Mr. Jacob, at spring training?
Really, I'm getting some feedback. Sorry. I feel like most agencies either succeed because they're really good at SEO or the deliverable that they're offering, or because they're really good at sales. And you get some unicorns that are good at sales and the deliverable. But that really only takes you so far until you have to actually learn how to run a business. And I'm kind of the black sheep of the SEO community, because I have 30 staff in a physical office where I run like a traditional business. I'm not living in Bali on a laptop, and my team's not fully in the Philippines. We have some hybrid, but really the hardest lessons that I've learned, specifically probably past $1 million in revenue, was that I didn't have the systems for, one, managing people and actually scaling a team outside of myself, and to be able to give people full accountability, you have to be able to give people measurable KPIs that can be tracked. And to be able to give people measurable KPIs, you have to know your numbers. And this was like, I think this is something that a lot of people struggle with, is they'll start off like as a solopreneur. They'll be living the dream like Robbie here. Some people do full circle and come back because clients are stressful. But you price in that, you're making, 90% gross margins because the only factor is your time. And I've heard so much on like that, value-based pricing, people should pay for the result, not the inputs. And like, sure, but that doesn't mean that you don't need to know the cost of your inputs. and ultimately, like, everything that I do comes back down to a deliverable that I pay for. So hours, I know what I pay for hours. Words, I know what I pay for words. Any sort of direct output costs like vendors or whatnot, I know exactly what I pay. And really, like, everything that we bill the clients is based on hours. And if I want to do value-based pricing, I'll charge $1,000 an hour. If I want to do, I don't care what the hourly rate is, go for it. But you can't use this value-based pricing concept as a scapegoat for not knowing your numbers. So what I want to share is a lot of mistakes that I've made, and solutions that I've found to basically get to a point where like I'm basically completely out of operations at this point. And my manager has all of the spreadsheets that she needs. She puts in the budget every month, knows whether we're, short people, over people, short on capacity in a specific department, mispriced a service. And I'll be sharing like the management spreadsheets that I use for this. And so really, yeah, I mean, that's the long and short of it, is how to, once you reach a certain scale, how to run a business and how to plan for that before you reach that scale, so that, because it really hurts when you think you're doing really well and suddenly you're not making money and you don't know why. So
100%. I mean, people ask me and Elizabeth all the time, if we were to start our business over again, what's the first thing we would do? And my answer is always SOPs, because we were 6 years in before we even did our first SOP. So then we had to backtrack. That wasn't very fun. So, but yeah, no, that's awesome. Because it's important for people to understand, we went a long time without understanding our numbers, and, we knew we were making money, but we really didn't know how much. We didn't know, are we throwing away money? Are we, is there a leak in the bucket? I love that. I love that whole scenario, is where are you leaking as an agency? And so, but no, that's cool. That's awesome. So, all right, Robbie, go ahead.
Hold on. A lot of times, like, so many of us get into freelancing or working for ourselves because we got out of a corporate environment. And it's really overcoming that mindset that you're creating a new corporate with your own agency. And like, I know, Jacob, when we met in Vegas for that event, like, we were talking about that, is like, you have to take your freelance business and turn it into a corporation with that structure. Maybe not the social environment, but the structure of SOPs, onboarding, offboarding, all of your processes, in order to grow and scale, because you can't wash, rinse, and repeat if you're just going in 23 different directions.
Yeah, and this stuff applies as much in the AI forward world as it does behind. Like, if we're gonna have, and I spoke about this somewhere, maybe at SEO Digital this summer, but like, if we're gonna have AI employees, we still need to know what the accountability is of that set, and who they're reporting to. And like, it's building AI on top of a lack of structure is a recipe for failure.
Yeah.
I love that analogy. I love that. That comment right there is pure gold, I think.
Exactly. So, all right, Robbie, what are you planning on doing for Tech Day, buddy? What do you got planned?
For Tech Day, I just want to see if we could do the open claw, if there's any interest in there. It depends on
Yeah.
the.
I think I was just asking Elizabeth what this is. I'm very leery about running down rabbit holes because I don't just tap my toe in. I typically jump my whole freaking body down a rabbit hole. So,
Yeah,
and I was talking to
so.
Elizabeth yesterday about freaking open claw, and I'm like, do I go down this road yet? So I think that's a perfect thing to talk about. Because,
Oh, that's great. I just want to see if,
Yeah.
get your recommendation, guys, as well. I could do other stuff as well, but I'm really into like open claw and setup and how to secure it and how to automate stuff. Does the outreach, does a lot of stuff. So it's kind of good service.
yeah, that's awesome. So that's really cool. So, all right, Mr. Marty Marion. So here's kind of the crux of the big announcement. Marty has offered to do a private 90-minute session with everybody that buys a ticket, whether it be virtual or live. For everybody that buys a ticket for spring training, we were talking about, a couple weeks into May. And typically we've done this type of stuff in the past where we've had some webinars and some stuff after the conference ends just to keep things going. And so Marty was gracious enough to offer this. He charges, $1,500 for this. I think I saw the last time.
This would be a $1,500 session.
Exactly. But I think it's really an awesome offer. And Elizabeth and I were talking about, let's maybe take it into and make it a digital day. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. I like the idea of doing 2 or 3 digital days with some of the speakers and presenters, even going and asking some of the speakers and presenters from the past. So I think it's a really, really good value for people to add that on to your ticket price. And have you ever seen Marty do this stuff? If you haven't got his book, you got to get his book. I think it's what, Matt, what's the link to your book, Marty?
Masterpositioning.com.
All right.
So let me tell you about the session. So everybody that buys a ticket for spring training, in person or digital or online, and everybody who's already bought a ticket gets this too. I'm going to hold about a 90-minute, and my stuff usually runs longer, live, intensive, private training on strategies and tactics for agencies and consultants to acquire more clients at lower cost, faster rate, and higher return than you have ever thought even possible. And this is going to totally change the way every agency, every consultant goes about acquiring new clients, because I'm going to pull the covers back on some myths and thinking that is holding back every agency, every consultant, every marketer, every coach I have ever in my entire career dealt with. Even the best of the best of the best still make the same mistake. And I'm going to reveal it all and show you how to overcome it and change it and fix it. And so that your client acquisition is going to become truly unstoppable.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I'm very excited about it. I got his book already. Thank you so much for that, by the way. I've been Marty's biggest fan since we introduced him in spring training in 2019. It's just the way he thinks about the way you look at your client, the way you look at your client's competitors, the way you dissect the, whatever you want to, the intent before the intent, so to speak. And it's one of the things that, I teach a lot of at the SEO University, but you really need to understand the whole process behind that. And everything I've learned about it has been from Marty. And, he's just an incredible resource for, the next level, I'll call it, of marketing. And super excited, super blessed that you even offered to do that for us. And he's also opening up spring training. And he's also going to have a little bit more time on stage than everybody else because he's going to do something different there also for us. I still haven't figured out that yet. My giant chessboard is still moving around. But I think the biggest thing is that, get your ticket, whether virtual or live. There's coupon codes out there if you're coming live. There is no coupon codes for the virtual, but get your ticket either way. You don't want to miss this stuff. This stuff is really going to be, a packed house as far as the presenters and what they're going to teach you and what they're going to show you. But obviously we would love to see you live. Come and, spend time with us. We tell people all the time, come spend time with our family, and we have a lot of fun. We have a new app this year, strictly that I built for spring training. So this is an app that everybody's going to be able to connect with each other. You're going to be able to, hey, we're all meeting down here. I've got, maps around places. You're going to be able to reserve restaurants and invite 10 people to go with you and all this stuff. So we've really stepped up the networking game this year with this app. The virtual people are also going to get the app, but they just obviously won't have the restaurant map and all that stuff inside of it. But this is we're a month out, and we're pushing this thing hard because we want to get it out there to as many people as we can. I hear every year about, man, I didn't even know about spring training. Well, this year I'm hoping you're seeing all the stuff because it's out there everywhere. So, but I'm super excited. Marty, thank you. What are you thinking about doing as far as the opening of spring training?
Well, I try to come up with something different every year. And as you said, for those of you who know me or those of you who are going to see this, I was the first ever presenter at the first ever SEO spring training. So I kind of credit Terry and Elizabeth for discovering me, and giving me an opportunity to get out there and in front of these markets. I'd only been doing private client work up until that point. And so this year, because of the book that I've just published, paid political announcement, this is a commercial plug, masterpositioning.com. Thank you, Terry. Because of the new book that I've published, it's very complex. It's not just something you read. It's a 350-page book. It is absolutely, the book weighs 2 pounds.
That's funny.
And it's absolutely packed with strategies, tactics, formulas, frameworks, step by step, broken down, mathematical formula. It's insane. It's the result of 40 years of my doing this at the big Madison Avenue agencies and for the biggest clients in the world. So what I'm going to do at spring training this year is I'm going to pull out 2 of the most important foundational pieces of this. Obviously, what took me 40 years to put together, I can't teach in an hour and a half. But I'm going to pull out 2 of the juiciest nuggets of this whole thing. I want people in the audience to sit back and say, what? Oh my God. So I'm going to show you, everybody, a way to very, very quickly determine whether you are anywhere in the ballpark of generating the client acquisition and the customer acquisition for your clients that you should be generating in your category. If I tell you that if you implement this the right way, you can see a 20 to 40% increase in acquisition, it's not an exaggeration. So that's what I'm going to be teaching. I'm going to be showing an actual piece of the matrix. And it's not like, Neo and, the matrix. It's the positioning and depositioning matrix. I'm going to show you the matrix. I'm going to walk you through an exercise as to how do you fill it in. And I think it will save you days or weeks at least of trying to figure it out.
I need a PDF of your book so I can put it in Claude.
No, you're going to get the party brain.
I'm gonna do a Marty freaking test over here and freaking say implement this into all my SOPs.
I will email it to you right after this tech talk.
Might crash Claude though. 330 pages. That's fine. I did. Speaking of what you were talking about is, one of the things I figured out a long time ago, or Elizabeth and I did, but 2 years ago, we went to the, Master Chat GPT in a weekend conference in Florida, is the importance of personalizing whatever you're doing to whatever you're doing instead of just haphazardly going at it. And, I did that. I built a schema generator that I'm going to show at spring training for the first time. And it literally, I put schema.org in Claude, literally the whole freaking thing. And then I put all my templates, all my stuff. And so like Marty said, this tool now thinks like Terry does. So it's a schema generator Terry's way, which was always my struggle before with any of the schema generators. And, that's the biggest thing that I can tell you guys when you start building out these tools, especially if you are really good at one area, put that knowledge into the tool and then let it build itself, so there's some really super powerful things that you can do with these AI instruments. And, and they're a lot of fun too. You just have to be careful to not go down the rabbit hole and, protect your APIs. There's always rules, don't do it. There's a couple people out there woke up with a $3,000 API bill in the middle of the night. Yeah, those aren't fun. So, kind of protect yourself. But we're going to have a lot of people coming and talking about it at spring training. We're going to have a lot of people coming and talking about growth, search, especially to get in the AI overviews. That's always going to be a big topic nowadays. And then kind of just the other ways to market. I think if you're still in the SEO world and that's all you do, I think you're behind the times right now. You need to be doing more than just SEO. You need to be unreplaceable or non-replaceable, kind of is the goal nowadays. So, but we do encourage anybody and everybody to come. It is, May 1st through the 3rd is the actual conference. The 28th. Oh, that's wrong. So it's April 29th is the golf extravaganza and VIP afternoon and dinner, which is going to be freaking fun. And then the tech days, the 30th. And then obviously the conference starts with May 1st. So, get your tickets. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's you echoing.
Am I echoing? I'm sorry. But yes, get your tickets, whether virtual. And I'll tell you, here's a little heads up. Virtual's almost done. So virtual, we are at the realm of internet speed. So I'm not Tony Robbins and I can't have 65,000 people on my Zoom. So it's just, we are limited on the virtual. So if you're going to get the virtual, get the virtual. If you are coming live, the second disclosure is get your room. Okay. The room block is out there. The room block is live, but the room block will fill up. It happens every single year. Once the room block fills up, you're paying normal prices for hotel rooms. So kind of be proactive in that aspect of it. Anything else, Elizabeth and gentlemen?
No, I'm just excited to learn and share from you guys, which is there's a lot of the speaker line is amazing, and I can't wait to meet Marty as well and check his book and pick his brain as well and everybody else here. So yeah, we'll see you guys in a few weeks.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Yep.
Jacob's coming out of the cold. So
yeah. Oh,
we have a strong Canadian representation this year.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
Yeah, and do you guys ever sit? We need to do. I've been asked to do spring training up in Canada. That would be a lot of fun. I want to do it in Banff though. Banff's my bucket list.
It's beautiful.
But all right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you guys in a few weeks. There we go. Randy, super excited for the conference. Randy, the news guy, one of
There
our
we go.
sponsors. Randy's always been there for us. Just a great guy. And if you haven't used his press releases, man, you're missing out. Use 38 Digital. All I can recommend. So, anyways, thank you everybody for joining us. We really appreciate it. We will see everybody in a couple weeks, or a few weeks, I guess, a month. And we'll be back on here again later on this week to do another show with some other presenters. But we're going to keep this thing going and bring your questions to us. If you got problems or challenges and with tickets or with whatever, contact Elizabeth and I. Especially Elizabeth, she can work some magic. But we look forward to seeing everybody. Tech support. Yep, tech support. But we do look forward to seeing everybody. Thank you again, and have a blessed day. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.